Remi, a wealthy businesswoman, stood before her mother, Mama Bola, unaware that the woman who gave her life was plotting her death. "Mama, you have never been happy for me. You frown when I smile, you sigh when I succeed. What have I done to deserve this?" Remi's voice was thick with pain. Mama Bola scoffed. "You think your wealth makes you better than me? Than your own sister, Bola?" "I have never thought that way," Remi replied, shaking her head. But Mama Bola's heart was dark with greed. She wanted everything her daughter had. She saw Remi's company, her wealth, her perfect life, and she wanted it all, even if it meant killing her own blood. In the bustling city of Lagos, where a mother's greed would soon shake the foundations of a family, inside a grand mansion in Ikoyi, lived Remi, a successful businesswoman with a heart of gold. She is married to Deo, a handsome businessman. She worked hard, day and night, pouring in her sweat to make sure her company grows. One day when her mother came to visit her, as she entered the house, Mama Bola's eyes darted around the luxurious house. Envy flickered in her gaze. Her daughter, whom she once controlled, was now richer than her. This was unacceptable, she said to herself. "Remi, don't you think it's time you do something for your younger sister, Bola?" Remi sighed. "Mama, I've done everything. I got her a job. I even gave her money to start a business. What else do you want?" Mama Bola smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. "You have everything, my daughter. Wealth, a husband, a company. And yet, your sister has nothing. Don't you think she need a husband?" A cold shiver ran through Remi's spine. Something was not right. And she was correct. That night, as she slept, her fate was already being sealed. The next morning, Remi left for a business trip in Abuja. She never made it to the airport. Somewhere along the lonely express road, a black van halted in front of her car. Before she could react, masked men pulled her out, gagged her, and threw her inside. For the next 5 months, Remi lived in darkness. The kidnappers starved her. They beat her when she asked questions. And every time she screamed for help, they laughed. "You go die here," the leader, a scar-faced man named Baba, told her one evening. "No body send you for here." Remi's heart stopped. "What?" she croaked. "Yes. They people that send us say make we kill you so they go take your money." Tears filled her eyes as she asked, "Who?" He told her, "No need to know since you go soon die," as he laughs. Hope faded. But just as she had accepted her fate, something unexpected happened. Enjoying the story so far? Please support the channel by subscribing for more interesting tales, thank you. One night, when the kidnappers are fast asleep after drinking heavily, one of the kidnappers, Taju, approached her with pity in his eyes. "Madam, I no fit do this again. They person ways send us wicked past devil." Taju helped her escape in the dead of the night. Why? She did not know. But she ran. Ran as fast as her weak legs could carry her, barefoot, starving, and broken. Remi found her way home. When Remi reached her mansion, her heart raced. Home. Finally, she said happily. As Remi entered into her mansion, her clothes tattered, her body thin and weak. She expected her husband to welcome her with open arms, but what she saw shattered her soul. Her younger sister, Bola, stood in the living room. Her belly was round. Pregnant. Her husband, Deo, was holding her waist. Remi's breath caught. "What is going on?" she whispered. Deo turned. His eyes widened in shock. "Remi? You're alive." Bola stepped forward, her face bold with defiance. "This is my husband now, sister. You were gone for 5 months. We thought you were dead." Remi's body trembled. She turned to Deo. "You married her? My own sister?" Deo swallowed hard. "Remi, I waited. 3 years, no child. Bola is carrying my baby. I had to move on. Remi felt her world crack. The man she loved had betrayed her. Her sister had stolen her place. That when Remi turned to her mother, who stood in a corner, eyes filled with mocking triumph, as she spoke, "Look, my daughter, you cannot blame your sister. We all thought you are dead. Your sister is pregnant. You can't just tell her to leave." Remi was shocked to her bones after hearing what her mother said. Her mother had planned it all. Bola smiled. "You should leave, sister. This is my home now." Tears rolled down Remi's face, but she refused to break. "I will not leave my house." Bola folded her arms. "Then deal with it. You're no longer the wife here." That night, Remi wept and prayed as she asked the heavens why. In the early hours of the morning, heartbroken, Remi wandered the streets, not knowing where to go. She had lost everything: her marriage, her home, her dignity. Then, a soft voice called her. "My daughter." She turned and saw an old man dressed in white. "I see pain in your eyes, but forgiveness will bring your joy." Remi's eyes burned with unshed tears. "Forgive them? After what they did?" The prophet smiled. "Your happiness will come from it. My daughter. Forgive them and free your mind." She wiped her tears. If God wanted her to forgive, she would try. She returned home, ready to let go, ready to move on. But then, she heard a conversation that changed everything. Hiding in a corner, Remi overheard her mother whispering angrily into the phone. "You fools! I told you to kill her, not let her escape. Now she's back and ruining my plans. Madam, we try. But we nor fit kill am," a rough voice replied in the other end. "Then I will finish the job myself." Remi covered her mouth. The very woman she called mother wanted her dead. For the first time, she saw the truth: her mother's love had never been real. Her mother had tried to kill her. She had not just taken her husband and wealth, she had wanted her dead. Pain turned to rage. She needed proof. She needed justice. She decided to dig deeper. With the help of an investigator, she uncovered shocking secrets. While she was gone, her mother and Bola had been stealing from her company. They bought houses, lands, cars, all with her stolen money. And they were planning to kill her again. Remi's hands shook as she made her decision. This time, she would not let them win. The next morning, as Remi greets her mother smiled. "I want you to accompany me to see the new land I wanted to buy." "Okay, let me change," Remi replied. Mama Bola smiled wickedly. Finally, she was falling into the trap. As they drove to where the supposed land is, Mama Bola kept looking at her phone, expecting a call. But the call never came. When they returned home, Remi invited a police officer disguised as a friend. As they all sit at the dining, she pressed play on a recorder. Her mother's voice filled the room. "You fools! I told you to kill her." Mama Bola's face turned to ash. Bola gasped in shock. Deo held his head in shame. The police stepped forward. "Mama Bola, you are under arrest for attempted murder, theft and fraud." Bola tried to run, but another officer blocked her. "You are under arrest for theft and fraud." Deo stood up. "Remi, please. Bola is pregnant," holding her as he said. Remi laughed bitterly and threw a paper at him. "I kept this secret to protect you, but now you should know, you can never father a child." Deo's eyes widened. He turned to Bola. Her face was pale, as the police took her away. Remi handed him divorce papers. "Sign it, or you will follow them to prison." Deo, shaking, scribbled his signature. Remi tossed a check of 5 million Nigerian nairas at him. "Take it and disappear." With his head bowed in shame, Deo walked out of the house. As the police led Mama Bola and Bola away, Remi sighed. The prophet had been right. Her peace had come. Remi rebuilt her life, her company, her happiness. She learned that not all family are truly family. Some are snakes disguised as loved ones. And most of all, greed always has a price. As Remi sat on her balcony, watching the sun rise, she reflected on everything. Greed had destroyed her mother. Jealousy had ruined her sister. And her husband had lost everything to foolishness. But she had survived. And from that day on, she vowed, never again would she let anyone dim her light. Moral lessons. Not everyone in your family who smiles at you loves you. Greed can turn a mother against her own child. Betrayal does not break you, it reveals the truth. Forgiveness is strength, but justice must prevail. Never let anyone steal what you worked hard for. The end. Thanks for watching. If you like this story, like, comment and subscribe for more tales.